Welcome to Python Bytes, Lesson 1, Introduction to Flask. These are our objectives. First, we answer the question, what is Flask? Next, we will create a Flask project from the command line. This will help explain what goes on behind the scenes. We will then create a second Flask project using PyCharm. We will create an inline HTML response, a JSON response, and finally a response using a static HTML file. As a last step, we will install the Green Unicorn production server. There are 3 main requirements. First, make sure Python 3 is installed. Second, we will be using the PyCharm Community Edition. It is available for free at the JetBrains website. This tutorial was written using the Mac OS. If you are on Windows, you will need to adapt the instructions accordingly. Flask is a lightweight web framework. It is installed by pip, like any Python package. It adheres to the WSGI Python standard, which means that your Flask script can run inside a WSGI production server, as we will see later. It can be enhanced using a rich ecosystem of extensions. Note, this tutorial does not cover the Jinja 2 template engine used by Flask. Although this is an important topic, it will be covered in depth in a future lesson. Let's create the first application. Create a directory called Flask_1 and cd into it. Now, initialize your Python environment. This invokes the venv module as well as creating a directory with the name venv. This directory will contain a snapshot of your Python environment. Use the source command to run the activate script, which was created in the previous step. This will place us in the sandboxed Python environment. Now, install Flask into your environment with pip3 install Flask. The last thing you need to do is create your Python web application. Enter nanoapp.py. First, we import Flask. Next, we create a Flask instance. We use a Python decorator to define a simple route. We implement a minimal text response. When we run this script from the command line, the module name will be main, in which case, Python will run our app in the development server. Close the editor, and run the application with Python 3 app.py. Use your browser to visit the URL listed. That's what we want to see. Let's head back to the terminal window. To complete the exercise, enter Ctrl+C to stop the server. Use the deactivate command to shut down the Python environment. Let's start the second project. Go ahead and start PyCharm. First, I want to change the theme from dark to light. This is optional, just a personal choice. Click the New Project button. Name the project Flask_2. The choice to use venv should already be selected as well as your desired Python interpreter. Now click Create in the bottom right corner. This will open up your new project. You can see your virtual environment in the hidden.venv directory. We need to install Flask. Click on the Python packages icon at the lower left. Enter Flask in the search field and click Install Package. Now, right-click on the project name, select New and File. Name your file app.py. I'll paste in the same code we used in the first project. Let's run it. Click on the green Run button at the top right of the window. This runs the development server. Click on the URL link below to open your browser. Looks like it worked. Let's go back to PyCharm and replace Hello World with an inline HTML document. Restart the browser and take a look. Our inline HTML page is working. Head back to the terminal. Now let's create a JSON service, exposing it with a new route. We need to import JSONify, which converts a Python dictionary into JSON. Restart and view it in the browser. Our JSON service is working. Notice that we need the /data on the URL to invoke the route. Finally, we will create a route that returns a static HTML file. Create a new subdirectory called static. In the new directory, create a file called mystaticfile.html. Click on app.py, then restart and view the hello route in your browser. The /hello route returns our static page. Return to PyCharm and click the red square to stop the development server. The dev server is not for production. For that, we need to install a production quality server. WSGI, or Web Server Gateway Interface, is a Python standard for production servers. Flask adheres to this standard, as does the Green Unicorn server, which we are going to install. Click on the package manager and search for Unicorn, then click Install Package. Open the terminal window and enter Unicorn space app:"app". The first app refers to the name of your script, minus the py. The second app refers to the Flask instance inside your script. Now open the URL to verify that your web page is working. Typically, you would not run your production server inside PyCharm like this, but it's okay for training purposes. Return to PyCharm and use Ctrl+C to shut down Unicorn. This completes our tutorial objectives. Let's summarize what we did in this tutorial. First, we created a directory and cd'd into it. Then we used Python to invoke the vend module, which created a vend subdirectory containing a snapshot of a sandbox Python environment. We activated this environment by sourcing the activate script. Next, we installed Flask using pip3. We wrote a simple web application called app.py and ran it in the development environment. Finally, we installed Unicorn, a production WSGI server, and ran our app. As a final step, we deactivated the Python sandbox. Thanks for watching.